5, 4, 3. Good morning, and welcome to Finally Friday. On November the 7th, 3 years ago, we started Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. As it started, I was unsure as to how to get it up and running. And so we struggled. We were challenged by our struggles of knowing just how to start a podcast. You're going to hear the history of Vibe Talk wanting you to be interactive. Because at first, we were not interactive. So now, Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast is born. Welcome to our celebration. If you're hearing this podcast around the world, please make it your aim, make it your joy to come celebrate such a beautiful podcast as this. We are so happy to be among you and helping so many people who have come and listened to us and have been impacted in more ways than one. My co-host should be joining us here shortly. She will be able to tell you how it has helped her. We are celebrating each and every one of you. All the callers, everyone who liked our reels, everyone who liked our post, everyone who sent in a message, who supported and believed in Vibe Talk. You didn't just scroll, but you stopped to see what are we all about. Who are we? Why are we even reaching out? You have stayed the course with us, and you have celebrated such a beautiful. Now we know that Finally Friday is all about facing our lions, and that is exactly what we are going to do this day and forevermore. We thank you for joining us in advance. You may use the calling line at 661-503-8993. Let us be the first to say happy anniversary to Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. We are among thousands upon thousands of podcasts. And we know that you're still searching for us. For those of you who have not found us, don't give up. We have told you through the years that we are no doctors. I am simply a co-host, listening to the people's pain as they discover their courage as they discover themselves through struggle. Because every one of us, and I will always believe this, and I quote, a lion lives in the heart of every brave man. And if you're agreeing with me or agree with that inspirational quote, please put a thumbs up. Because when you feel weak, power lies within. Lion-like power. Lion-like courage. Lion-like inspiration. Some of you have done this very thing. You have waited in silence. Good morning to you, Trish.
Good morning.
I want to start off by saying it wasn't until last night that there was something definitely missing, because you think about how do you want to introduce our year's end. We are celebrating something so wonderful. Good morning for those of you who are coming in. Where are you listening in from? Hello to you as well. We're live. And if you want to join us, you can ask us questions. We're celebrating 3 years of our podcast. Where are you listening in from? And thank you for joining. You've been here before? Well, welcome back. Cheyenne from Jersey. And Cheyenne, I left you a message. Did you happen to get that message? And Cheyenne has been here from Jersey. How's your weather? And thank you to Jay for coming in. Yeah, I left a message to the number that you gave me for the one-on-one. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, we have direct connect. And if you ever want to talk to me in an emergency, we had an emergency yesterday, you can call me and direct connect with me from your Instagrams, your Facebooks, and just put emergency so that I will get it right away. Kind of warm for November, huh? We're going to be celebrating, guys. Going back to November 7th. Okay. The next step is to get in touch with me. Get in touch with me. That's understandable. She says she's going through a lot. That's understandable. We are here. Get in touch with us, 661-503-8993. Text me there as you listen to the program. And I will be sure to call you back as you discover the challenge you're facing. Getting back. I want to focus on Trish. That's why I wanted her to be here. She's got schooling, and I'm so proud of her, as I know family and friends are. Trish, last night I just happened to be looking at some things, and I came across your album directly dedicated to us. And pardon me, if you will, I had forgotten until it was in my visual about that album. It was empowering, positive. The message was very strong. I thought that I left you a message and a text as well. I don't want to say your number, but do me a favor, text it, and you can talk to me while we are doing the program, and I'll be sure to answer you person to person. You want the number again? 661 503 8993. And that is a possibility that the number could have been missed, but I thought I sent a message, a voicemail, and a text. Do you have the number? 661 503 8993. And that line is active and ready, so I can see everything. Our Vibe Talk Facing the Lion, we celebrate you, Trish. That album was phenomenal. It sparked. Okay, you got the number or you got the message. It sparked a powerful energy into me. And what do I mean by that? Because you were really telling our story. Okay, yeah, because I sent it. And you can text here anytime. In fact, why don't you send me a text? You can say anything right now, but I want you to be able to tell me it's available for you. We thank you, Trish. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. Trish, now looking back 3 years, I actually listened to that with tears in my eyes. You know how emotional I get here. And by the way, it's okay to get emotional. Looking back 3 years, Trish, what would you say about that album now?
I would say that we've grown a lot since then.
Mhm.
And when I made the album, the passion for Vibe Talk, it was still there. I wasn't even a co-host yet when I made it. I was just saying thank you because it helped me a lot in inspiring me to do my music and to be who I am and to find out who I am as a person. And Vibe Talk is still giving that same exact message. And in the album, I wanted you guys to feel the thank you and the passion that I feel from Vibe Talk in the album. So I hope that was felt.
Yeah, from me, I know it was. I can't thank you enough for the message, and we will always treasure it. Um, and there is pun intended because the next thing we're going to be talking about today is Trisha's treasures. In year one, we didn't have a Trisha's treasure, but you see, Trisha's treasures came about. Would you say in year two, latter part, Trish?
Yeah, I'd
Get
say
this
that.
estimation, and I'm still here for you, Cheyenne from New Jersey. So don't think I have went away. I can see your text, and that's what we want you guys to get used to connecting with us. Don't feel afraid. We're going to be right back. Stay tuned and celebrate 3 years and still going. We'll be right back. Cause we're called vibetalk, facing the lion podcast. Come check your favorite streaming platforms. Feel free to be interactive and tell us your stories. Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, YouTube, and Mixcloud. We're also on Facebook and Instagram. Go give it a shot. We're back. In what year did we think about Trisha's Treasures for you? Was it the latter part?
I think it was like late 2020, well, early 2023. I think so.
So it was in this year.
Yes.
Okay. Look how far we've come. Trisha's Treasures is dedicated to all of you, since you hear me each time you get to hear Trisha's feelings, emotions, and she adds to this podcast in such a creative way. We want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts, for even when the offer was given to you, you resoundingly said yes. You were a little nervous, but every day when you hear us, you will hear a segment of Trisha's Treasures. If you hashtag that, you will begin to get to know Trish amazingly. We're so proud. How has Trisha's Treasures helped you in year 3, Trish?
It has helped me be more comfortable in talking about my experience, and it also helps my creativity as well. I think it helps me connect to the audience in a personal level from my personal experience. So it helps me connect with people more and tell my story and not be so shy and afraid to share my story.
Yeah, yeah. Something that I really appreciate. Silence is the most powerful scream. How many of you are silent? You don't really let people inside. I used to be. I'm still private, but not at all silent. Why is that? Because I've learned to regulate my feelings. Cheyenne from New Jersey says, I try not to be, but it's hard. Yes, and thank you for that. Why do you guys think that um, it's so hard? Silence is the most powerful scream. Why is not speaking forth not easy? Because it wasn't easy for me to be able to share my feelings. In fact, something has come up, and my sister said to me yesterday, you need to tell somebody. You need to let somebody know. It's a situation I'm challenged with. Um, and you know what I told her? I'm afraid to ask because I've been rejected before. That was my thought. Are any of you feeling like that? That maybe you don't want to speak up because you feel that maybe someone won't hear you? Because I'm still at that stage. I'm getting a lot better, and I'll tell you what Vibe Talk has done for me in the last 3 years. It's really helped me, and I'm giving you an example. I'm giving you an example of how your coach feels, Coach Nisi feels. And Cheyenne says, I don't want to turn people away. Yeah, yeah. And sometimes we stay silent for various other reasons. Trish, have you had this experience?
Yes, I have. And the reason why I stay silent is because I know people around me, they're going through things too, so I don't want to be a burden to them.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't talk about my feelings.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's important that we do, as we've learned. You see how we're challenging ourselves. And that's the thing. Vibe Talk helps you to challenge yourself. We're going to get into it. We're really going to be talking about our raw feelings today. What is TWSH? Anybody know? I don't know what that is. I'm sorry, Cheyenne. What does that mean, sweetie? Trigger warning. Okay. Oh, thank you for that. See, that's lion power. Thank you. She says I sent people my scars and got blocked. Yeah. And you know why people do that? Because they don't know how to deal with their, their feelings. And the best thing that you can do, first off, we always ask if you still feel like that. Number one, because that's very important. And if you still feel like that, we resource you. You're seeking therapy. That's a good thing. Have you found a therapist and you have a psychiatrist? Because here's what we do. I am a professional life coach, life and wellness coach. And if you, let's say you didn't have one, we research. I will research your town and we would do it in a private conversation and we will get you immediate help. And what do we do with that, Trish? We put the three numbers in. And what are those three numbers? To the hotline. And please include that in today's program. You called for one? Okay. So are you active in working with her? Have you set up an appointment with your um, therapist? Because that's really important. And the reason why we tell you that is because it would be okay. You keep calling it. In the meantime, if you need help right then and there, and we're telling everybody, Crises Prevention Hotline 988. If you're waiting for that call back, you can call your local hospital. This is important, guys. You can call your local hospitals. You could ask for their mental health. They do have them. If you want help, we will guide you through because your life is valuable. Every hospital, every big hospital has that. That's good. And I understand that. She says she's not suicidal, just hurting. Look how brave she is, Trish. We gotta thank you for your courage because there's a lot more people that should find this And if you're listening, ladies and gentlemen, please send somebody so we can help them. We're not doctors, but I am a certified wellness coach. I promise you that I will lead you to the medical part. We don't give medical advice. If you're in therapy, stay in therapy. And I want you to circle the word hurting. For anybody that is out there today, I'm going to challenge you to circle the word hurting. Has everybody done that? Because if you have, you're going to take the word hurting and you're going to write a question mark. Question mark. Why do you suppose I've asked you all to draw a question mark? Because we're getting into what we've been doing for 3 years with this podcast. We're going to start with my co-host. Why would I say draw? Yes. Yes. A caller or our audience member says to ask yourself why you are hurting. Absolutely. You see how I don't put into your mind, you're hurting because of this, you're hurting because of that. Here's what I do. I ask you why. Now I want you to put a circle around that. If any of you were listening, why? Why? Because it's important for you to know why. Because you say, let me tell somebody why. More importantly, it's important for you to know why. And she's able to answer that. She says, as you're listening, I'm hurting because my trust was betrayed. How many of you can identify with that? Because we know that you're listening from our other platforms. We have a YouTube channel. We see the numbers that you guys listen to our podcast. How many of you can relate? If you can relate, I'd like for you to use your electronic hand, which we now understand what the electronic hand means. What does it mean, Trish?
It means
Electronic.
I relate.
Yeah. Going back to the silence is the most powerful scream. Some people came in here and they didn't know how to express themselves as well as our audience member Cheyenne is doing. What I'm doing is helping Cheyenne to discover the power of her scream, the power of her hurt. I go back to the podcast where I asked how many of you have went to the doctor and the doctor says, where does it hurt? You don't ask the doctor, where does it hurt? The doctor asks you, where does it hurt? How many of you have said, I don't know? Well, you've made that doctor's appointment because you know exactly what's hurting. Because you reply where it hurts. You show him. And that's what you're doing in here. Cheyenne, you did a very good example of that by saying, I'm hurting because my trust was betrayed. Sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, it takes a person a long time to get to the why. So we need to be effective, even as life coaches. Don't go around calling yourself a life coach if you don't know how to help the person, because it's very serious. Because it's not true. Everybody can't be life coaches. But if you are, you want to help the person discover where it hurts. Yeah, you may. And I'm Miss Nisi. Yes, you may, Cheyenne. That's what you're here for. And there was no setup here. No, that's okay. We asked the important question, why? So wherever you are, I want you to think about the question mark, and I want you to think about why. Because she's just identified an emotion. From the emotion, Cheyenne was able to tell me the experience. Yes, I am. Very much so. She says, I want to know if you are spiritual at all. Yes, I am. Very much so. Thank you for that question. No, I do not, but I've had that for myself, and it was guided, and the person that helped me was very excellent. And you say you need the chakra healing? Okay. Okay. That will be your decision, because I can't tell you about it. All I can tell you is be committed to yourself and working on yourself. In those 3 minutes or three things, in those 3 things, I want you to go back. I ask you to, what was it that I asked you first? Write the word hurt, draw the question mark. From there, you were able to look at it and you were able to identify what's going on inside of you. We must do our own work, ladies and gentlemen. When you come into Vibe Talk, I'm not some guru that's going to figure out what is wrong with you. You learn the technique of finding out why you hurt, why you feel sad. That isn't to say that many of us need help with depression, help with suicide, or feeling suicidal, I should say. Let me correct that. Because we all may need professional help. You said that the way, what's probably a much better approach? And we are in discussion, so we want you to talk it out while we're here, even in our celebrations. Again, we were with a thought. Silence is the most powerful scream. I am a silent screamer. And when I was in counseling, my counselor was very afraid to be able to dig in deep with me. And I'll tell you why. Because I didn't feel like my feelings were important. Everybody else was important. They were more important. Thank you for that. I don't know. All I can do is work with you, and that's why I do one-on-ones. One-on-ones are very important. Trish, how important would you say the one-on-ones with me are? Would you say they're important or to skip them? Honestly.
Honestly, honestly, I think they are very important, especially if you want to share something vulnerable and very personal and not around an audience.
Yeah. And now that she said that, we don't ever record your one-on-ones with me. It's the same work, but you're doing it where you're comfortable. I've had people actually make appointments when they were on their hour break, a half an hour break. I've had people make appointments with me while they were in their cars. I think it's important to deal with your feelings raw. And it is going to be painful. I am not going to lie to you. Trish, what would you say to that?
I would say that is very true. It wasn't easy for me. Me personally, it wasn't easy for me to dig deep within me and talk about my feelings because I'm scared of myself, and
Mhm.
that's very real. I'm scared of myself and scared of how I feel and how it looks to me and how other people view how I feel. But I had to learn that it is easier to be in denial, but my life would be easier if I'm more honest with myself.
That's another point. A technique we use in here is called facing the mirror. Oh boy, facing the mirror. It's not just looking at yourself on the outside, but as you start connecting with yourself and talking with yourself in the mirror, of course, I'm there guiding at that facing the mirror, and that's what's missing here. But it'll be here next week. When we face the mirror, what we're really doing is reflecting on our wants, our needs, our hurts, our passions, our fears. Two very important things that were said here. Trish, you said fear, and Cheyenne, you said hurt. And your emotion of hurt came from people betraying you. I can relate. The only way that it's going to get better is that you use your feelings to say what you need to say. And when you do it, you're going to hear yourself for the very first time. You know, because maybe you thought you listened to yourself. And yeah, you did hear words coming out of your mouth. But there's going to be that one time, and I guarantee you, that you're really going to hear yourself. Stick with me. I'll be right back. And yes, I did acknowledge you saying that you need a one-on-one. Schedule one because I leave that up to you and I can get with you. That's another thing. When you want to do the work, you'll do it. And isn't that better than me telling you when to come? We leave it up to you. You know, it's just like with hair care or nail care. Your nail person or your hair person does not call you to say what you need to get your nails done. Did you break a nail? Did you get your hair done? See, you know there's a need. Is there a need for people to heal? What would you all say? Is there a need? Thank you so much for that. For people to heal.
I say yes.
Cheyenne from New Jersey says yes. I say yes. My co-host Trish says yes. When you start recognizing your own need to heal, that's when your journey begins. You know what I've been telling people now? I'm on a healing journey. Because I was filled with anger. I was silently angry at people. They didn't know. All they knew was she comes, she's mad. Look at her face. I had to get those feelings out. And until I was ready, nothing was able to help me. When we feel like we are not completed, and I want you, ladies and gentlemen, to listen to me very closely for the words that I'm going to say. We were going to go to commercial, but I'm going to stay for a moment. We look into ourselves. Do we dismiss our need? Because I guarantee you, ladies, if you're into yourselves, how you look, you're not going to miss a date with yourself to get your hair done. And we all know how important that is. But do you have a need, an insatiable need to care for your insides? What's happening to you in the insides? Maybe you feel like it's uncontrollable. But I'm going to tell you about the lion power. The lion power is incredible. You know those lions that you see at the zoo? You start looking at them, they're not growling at us. But don't you dare cross over into that gated area. Why? Because you know that the lion is powerful, even though it's lying there sheepishly. Don't get fooled. Because you see, no worries. No worries. You can come back anytime. That lion is awaiting to be awakened. Same with you. You are awaiting to be awakened. Vibe Talk Facing the Lions has proved incredibly through my work. You have proven to me by your doing the work, your strength, your assertiveness. You're taking leadership. You're overcoming the hurt, the pain, the struggle, because you're taking back the power and living your life. Here's where we get mixed up. We go places and we think, this is the help, this is the help, this is the help, until one day we say, this is not the help. For those of you who are no longer in Vibe Talk, you dismissed your self-help. Because we can go to anybody, anywhere, at any time, but until we face our lions, until we look dead on into that mirror and are awakened to awareness about ourselves, that's where the healing begins. Did you hear the word awake, aware? There's something I always say to my children as they leave my adult children every day, and that is be aware of your surroundings. If you're a parent and you've ever said that, what did you mean by that? Because, see, it could be just as free as the words, I love you. Now, why am I saying that? Because sometimes we say, I love you to everybody. But when we say, I love you, is it just something to say, or is it something that we really have made ourselves aware of? I promise you, my children can make me very angry as they are young adults. But when I say the words, I love you, I mean that. That's awareness. Because I'm aware that when I say I love you, I understand it. Why? Because I love myself. Now let's get to the being aware of your surroundings. Many of you have put yourself in situations. Many of you have been given situations if you're adult enough. But your awareness starts with your being conscious. You know, when they say people are unconscious, that means that they're not capable of making that decision right then and there until they become conscious of it. And I'm going to ask you, are you aware? Are you conscious of your surrounding? Where you put your house body? Some people walk around depressed. They don't even know they're depressed. This is not a program to bash doctors. I think doctors do incredible work. I'm always fascinated at the new technology that comes out, the way they can perform surgery now and you actually go home the next day. So this is not a program about that, because we're always grateful for everything. And if you're a doctor, please let me interview you. We do interviews here. We're going to get to that. But I think what I'm saying right now to you as an audience is very important for you to be aware. Don't wait for somebody to tell you to get help, because so many people have dismissed themselves. They've been depressed for a very long time and no one knew it. No one knew. They've ended their life as a resolution. In year one, we found a reason to birth this podcast. You remember, we're going to go back to a reflection. Do you all remember when we had the pandemic? And I say this because some people are not with us today. Some people were victims of COVID-19. Can't help that. We take preventative measures. But everybody in the room, a virtual room, had been faced with COVID-19. Do you remember that, Trish?
Yes, I remember.
I didn't get it until like last year, but we all had it. So we knew it was a real thing. But then there was others of you who were struggling with not being able to contact your loved ones by touch or feelings. And then we talk to you about how you could Zoom in. Before that, I didn't know what a Zoom was, but we learned how to connect. I'm asking you today, in year 3, have you connected with yourselves? Connection. That's what year 3 brought us. By year 2, you were understanding what your feelings were. Through the Feelings Buried Alive, Never Die book, that is on YouTube. Please, Trish, put that in the link for our audience. If you want to see links of any kind after the show, Trisha's dedicated herself to putting up these podcasts as soon as we're done. And she has such a busy life with college and family and responsibilities. And we appreciate you, Trish, from the bottom of my heart. Because many of you are able to see what we're doing. Now, if you're on Spotify or any of those type of podcasts, wherever you're listening to your favorite podcast, we're letting you know that we have YouTube. We have utilized YouTube so much in year 3. You're able to access, you're able to look at what we're looking at. We also can have you message us, even through YouTube. Vibe Talk questions. I worked so hard the other day and the other night on into the night to think about how I wanted to celebrate year 3. Our direct connect is for you. Text mail, voicemail, calling us. You can use anywhere that you can comment to answer questions. And I thought the best question that we have ever put up was, what is the best advice to give yourself? You remember that, Trish?
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah. And what would you say right now in year 3 is the best advice to give yourself?
The best advice I would give myself right now is to be patient and take time. It'll turn out in the end.
Best advice I could give myself at this moment is keep being determined. Because you see, year 3 has brought us discovery. We asked that question. It all makes sense now because, people want to know, what is Vibe Talk facing the lion? See, those lions are our challenges. When life seems rough, hard, unbearable, what do? We challenge ourselves. Because I want to tell you something. Some people really do challenge lions. There are lion trainers. There are zookeepers who challenge themselves every day to cross that fence and say, I'm here. They feed those lions. In a literal way, we're not asking that you go and jump in a lion's den. It's not what we're telling you. Here's what we're telling you. To challenge yourself every day. That is your passion. That should be your challenge, to get connected with yourself, because some people don't even know themselves. Year 3 has helped me get to know myself. Not only get to know myself, but get to love myself. See, it's no longer loving thyself, it's loving myself. Did it hit you hard? And if you haven't gotten there yet, we're going to ask you that you challenge us for year 4 to help you get there. Because we're not going to give you opinions. We're not going to give you answers because you may simply like to tune into us just because you simply love to hear our voices. We're almost at 300 people on our Facebook page. We're right now at 294 who simply click and like. What does that tell you? We want to have more people. And if you've been helped by one or more of our podcasts, we'd love to hear from you. Don't be afraid. That's why we do have different forms of platforms. One here, one where nobody has to know you're listening. We just see it in demographics. We're going to be talking about that in our celebrations. See, we've been here a mere 3 years. A mere 3 years. We want you to thrive. You may have felt this way in year 1, but every page can look different in the chapters of your life. We're not giving the all answers. We don't have an answer for everything because I don't know about you. I love to learn. Anybody in here love to learn?
I do.
Yeah, I love to learn. Miss Nisi, in no way do I think I know everything. Because I don't. Everything that I bring to you, I have been inspired from. And we're 2 different people, 3 different people, but we all can relate to emotions of sadness, depression, guilt, shame, joy, pain, hurt, betrayal. As I've said those, you will know them well. There's happiness too. We're asking important questions. Year 4, we want it to look different. Why? Because we know in the year 1 through 3 that we have really helped people. When you're getting people that listen to us in year 2 from Germany, Netherlands, Japan, Africa, Middle East, countries I've never even heard of. Somebody's listening somewhere, somehow. So in year 4, we're going to be hopefuls. See, we're not these podcasts that are going to give you answers because we don't know everything. We're the podcast that we are. We're the podcast that what it looks like. On the back wall, you see everything that we've done. You have to be the one to understand your personal power, your healing journeys. They're not fun. But as you start to connect with yourself, you start to understand yourself and you understand others better. Now, my young adult children, as much as I love them and gave them birth, they can make me angry, but they can't take away how I feel. I want to thank each and every one of you as you are listening here today. I cannot stress how much we've appreciated all of you. And by listening to you, we now have callers on YouTube. It's in the caller section. Is that right, Trish? Where they can find them?
Yes, it is in the caller section.
We want you to hear the callers because we do have real callers. Even if you don't want to call and be online because we recognize that people are different, you can text us. But your stories help other people. Some of you have called us. We've never heard from you again. You can even call just to say hello. But that call line is for people who really want the help, because we do hear people say, I want the help. I want somebody to listen. What's so great about streaming now is that when you stream, nobody has to be in the audience. We're going to, from time to time, have people that are in the audience and that want to participate. We won't stop. We're going to be right back. Vibe Talk has one-on-one and group sessions. Contact us wherever you're listening to your favorite podcast. We're here for you at Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. We are back celebrating Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. Before I turn it over to Trish and her Trish's Treasure segment, we want to focus attention on the Feelings book. We've been working with that for the last 2 years. And it's not every day that we go over this book, Feelings Buried Alive Never Die. And there's a reason for that, because it's so much in this book. It is on audio at YouTube. Trisha's put the link there for you. How has Feelings Buried Alive Never Die, Trish, helped you? If it has.
Yes, it has helped me. And a particular chapter that really helped me was the container chapter, the one that's about holding pain in and anger in. That helped me a lot to express my emotions more, because I hold in a lot. And that book, personally, to me, I told you when you were like, we're going to go over this book, I told you, I said, I know I'm not going to be able to read it myself. I know I'm not going to do it for me. So I rather like all of us listen to it together. And I'm glad I did that, because I'm glad I said that, because hearing those chapters, it has impacted me on a deeper level in thinking about what I still hold to myself from the past, whether it's anger or pain or feeling sad about something. So that book helped me a lot to just reflect and think about where I am now versus where I was then.
Thank you for that. I think for me, in fact, I know for me, that the author herself, Carol K. Truman, who is the book's author, the very first time that a friend of mine gave me this book to read, what was so amazing to me is the time at birth and what a child goes through during those 9 months, they can experience trauma. That hit home because, you think about a baby and uh, even in the Bible it says, the psalmist writes to Jehovah God, you kept me screened off in the belly of my mother, the wound of my mother. And I thought, wow, that's really something, how we're protected in our mother's wound. But we are experiencing the same things that our mother at the time is experiencing. That was so fascinating to me, to stop and reflect. Some of us didn't even know that we may have been in trauma because our parent, our mother may have been traumatized, and so we experienced. So that, for me, was a eye-opener and made me aware of things. So this book, ladies and gentlemen, Feelings Buried Alive Never Die, if you're looking to understand yourself better, please, please, please listen to the audio of this book. We don't know what we're going to do for a book, if even we do a book for year 4, but we've been here, and I am so thankful. I'm going to turn it over to Trish's Treasures. Trish?
It's amazing that we have been here for 3 years. And I looked at my old Vibe Talk journal just now, and I found the first article that I wrote, the first journal entry that I wrote, and it was actually on Facing the Lion Friday. That's what we used to call it.
Yeah.
Facing the Lion Friday. And it was 2021 of December 31st. And it was about how I understood that the bad lion reference is to fear, in my sense, is to fear, depression, and I said that it ties me down into a pit without a way out. And I think I look at it now from 2021 to 2023. I look at this article now, and I can say that I am better with depression and self-doubt. I do have my bad days. That's the realness of life. I do have my bad days where it still comes back into my mind, but I am resilient. That's what I've grown in 3 years. I've learned to be resilient. And another journal entry I found is the one on closure. We did a podcast on closure, and we also did a podcast on the inner childhood. Those 3 were the podcasts that really hit me hard. And the one from Facing the Lions, that was actually my first call-in, and I did the mirror talk, actually. I remember it like yesterday. But I was so nervous to do it because I never was asked, to take a moment and ask yourself these questions and actually look at yourself and listen to yourself speak, because I'm used to listening to other people and dismissing my emotions. But 3 years later, I have learned to pay attention to my feelings, and it feels like I'm a new person, especially when I look at the old journal entries, because sometimes I look at it to reflect and see where I'm at now. And I see that I am a more positive and my mind is more optimistic rather than thinking of the worst case scenario possible. And I am glad that I have changed from that. And because when I came into this, when I came into one of your the first podcast I came into of Vibe Talk, I was actually searching for something because my body and my mindset was tired of feeling depressed and self-doubt, and it was tired of being in that dark state. And I am proud to say that I've been with this for a long time. And as I am walking with Vibe Talk, I am walking with working on me.
Yeah.
So if there's something that you as a person feels like if they need to work on, I know that's why I said the advice that I have for myself is be patient, take time. It'll get better in the end, because the fact that I still walked with this for 3 years, I do it because it's helping me as a person, and it's helping me develop and grow into the best version of myself. And I'm learning that I am not perfect, and sometimes I do burn the burgers. That's one of the podcasts we had.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I do burn the burgers, but it's okay because I can start over. And that doesn't mean that I need to guilt trip myself. That's also a podcast we had.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that I need to guilt trip myself. I need to be resilient and keep going and push forward and face my lions every day.
So we hope lions are all so powerful. We're hoping that all of you I need a moment. We hope that all of you for the past 3 years, we hope that you're facing your lions. Good morning and welcome. If you've missed any of this podcast on our celebrating 3 years of this beautiful podcast, you can get it on Facebook in your favorite podcast, wherever you're listening. Where are you listening from? Please and thank you. We like the virtual audience. We appreciate each and every one of you coming in. Thank you for joining us. We're celebrating 3 years of Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. We're hoping that you don't just stay put. We want you to grow with us, grow for yourself. Hello, and welcome to the program. Where are you listening in from? Please and thank you. We're going to be celebrating November and December. If you're just joining us, please make it your aim to find Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. Every day with us is a beginning to your journey of healing. I love something you said, Trish, about healing, about not being perfect. That is exactly what we need you to realize. You know, people love to bring your faults to you. And with those faults, you are aware of whatever it is that you're dealing with. Whatever it is. We want you to know that we're grateful for you. Without listeners, without you clicking the button, without you liking our reels, there would just be Trish and I. And that's okay too. We're always afraid of the what ifs. What if it doesn't happen? What if? What if? What if? Let me ask you something. What if? With a question mark. We mastered the fear of the other side of what if. Because that's exactly what I thought when I had created. It was just a thought. Created Vibe Talk Facing the Lion. I had, what if no one listens? What if it flops? What if we fail? What if I'm not good enough? 3 years and counting. We faced our lions. Happy anniversary to Vibe Talk. Thank you so much for your support. What did you learn from today's celebration of Vibe Talks 3 years and counting? Trish, we'll start with you.
I've learned that I actually learned from Cheyenne about speaking up about if you're hurting and finding out why you're hurting and actually owning up to it, even though silence is the loudest scream. But it's up to me to start using the mouth that God gave me and talk about my emotions and feelings, because that is a start of healing what is broken inside of me. And my experience here today, I was excited, and also I was also thankful, because 3 years is a long time if y'all think about it. And it's been an amazing journey for me. So that was my experience here today.
Love it. You know, 3 years for me in keeping this up. You know, we first started, we did a podcast, one for every day. Remember, Trish? And then Trish and I, we meet and then we find out new ways. What do we want to do? What do we want Vibe Talk to look like? And then at the end of the year, there's a picture painted for us that we say, wow, we didn't know that it was going to look like this. We're inspired. I'm inspired to want to make a year 4. For those of you who still don't know us, get to know us, and you'll get to know yourself. I think it's important for every human to be able to express how they feel and not disregard other people's feelings. I think the thing with me the most that bothers me is when people don't acknowledge the way other people feel. They don't acknowledge how other people feel. And I think that's important, that we acknowledge how we all feel. Take it into consideration, not just one person, but individually, collectively. Feelings, because we all have them. So for me today, we get to revisit. For those of you who are coming on your healing journey, we say to you, don't stop. Slow progress is better than no progress. And as I look back, I've made progress. Some slow. I'm still a work of art, a piece of work. That was one of our podcasts. We have indeed had over 200 and something podcasts. I can tell you that for sure. For sure. I can tell you that we have that for sure. Our celebration is going to go into some of the titles we've had. And we're hoping that you get to take a listen. We're inviting you from this day forward to go check out our YouTube page. We now have 10 supporters. If you've been there and you've liked your podcast that you're listening to, please join our YouTube channel. I want to thank my amazing co-host, Trish. Trish, by the way, is the music coordinator. She is the message behind the music that you listen to here on Vibe Talk. The opening is her arranging. The closing is of her arranging. Thank you, Trish, for your undying passion for music. Check out her music. She has her very own website as well, our YouTube. Go check it out. Subscribe to her as well. She has earned every bit of what is now part of Vibe Talk. Trish's Treasures. Thank you, Trish. Thank you, audience members, all the way from California. And Trish, you are from? South Carolina?
South Carolina.
Yeah. Thank you, Cheyenne, for joining us. And all of you that are reaching out. When you hear our podcast, please tell us where you're from. We're going to be celebrating for the month of November, so we have much to talk about. You can call in during and after the program, 661-503-8993. Call us even if you hate us. We challenge ourselves for every personality of the lion. Thank you all for joining us, and please have a good weekend. You're doing something fun or inspiring, or you're doing something new, tell us about your weekend. We'll share it. That is, if you want us to. Thank you for joining Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. I challenge you to face your lions. I don't want you just to make a resurrection. I want you to think about. I was really by the moon, but then I got the vibe. Really to the time with it. I really love to ride with it. Really got the vibe with it. That's the time with it. I really love to ride with it. If I see you, baby, you really get the vibe with it. Yeah, when you get the vibe with it. Yeah.